everyone. Hope you're doing great. Today's live stream will be very low budget. I'm currently traveling in Japan, and I am mainly doing this so I can keep. Last year, I tried to do a stream every single month, and I failed in the month of May. And this time it got really close. Today is the 31st. And if I don't do the live stream right now, I would definitely fail. There are some news that I wanted to share, and I can answer some questions if any of you gonna show up. I don't necessarily know if anybody's gonna show up, just because I haven't really announced it. I kind of got really close and that kind of stuff. I think last time for the Dumbphone live stream for April, we actually published it on May 1st, or was like super close to. But yeah, so kind of excited to just work this out. Hopefully everything is working. Let me put the chat here in case there are any questions that I can answer. But yeah, some exciting things in the world of dumb phones. I've seen some news from some kind of like entrepreneurial kind of people that people are interested in doing something like a new phone, Linux. There has been a few projects for the dumb phone world. So I'm kind of excited to see how that pans out. And I have a few extra things. I'm just sharing this so that some of you can find it later. That's kind of important. And we'll see. I also don't know. Maybe it's too early for the United States also. So I'm just going to cover a few things that I think are kind of relevant. And then I will go and prepare to go to sleep because it's 10:19 p.m. here in Japan. I think it is 9 a.m. in the eastern United States, most likely. And yeah, so I don't think we'll have a lot of people. Maybe some Europeans will show up, but it's also Monday. So, there's also a lot of things going on here. So if you have any questions, put them in the stream and I'll answer them. In the meantime, I wanted to showcase some of these projects that I've been looking into. All right, let's see. First of all, let's go for the side phone. There are some news for that phone in specific. They created a new keypad. Let me see if I can find it so I can show you guys. Yeah, there you go. Then we had the revoke movement or reco movement. That's what it's called. Reco movement. Let me find the link so I can showcase it as well. I think it was recomovement.com. I did not like some of the wording from the website, but I mean, it's fine. I get it. They're all trying to kind of emulate some stuff from the past. There's also these two projects that I found very interesting, and I will touch on them. All right. Also, let's go to JTech forums. There was somebody that said that there is a new Sunbeam F1 coming, or a Sunbeam product coming soon. Let me see, forums, JTech. So I'm just loading it up as we are here. It's kind of quite important. Maybe it's this one. Nope, that's not the one. Forums.jtech.com, I think. Nope. I don't know why it doesn't show up. Oh, there it is. Forums.jtechforums.com. There it is. All right. Let's see. Where is it? Sunbeam. Somebody says Sunbeam. Okay, let's see. New Sunbeam. Let's see. Maybe it's this one. Nope. Oh, okay. Sunbeam bar phone. Okay, there it is. Perfect. All right, cool. Perfect. Okay, I have a few lined up news here. And again, if you're interested in getting some questions answered, we'll get to that. And sorry for the very budget, quality. It's okay, I think. I mean, it's fine. Not everything has to be perfect. The information is what truly matters. Oh, and I do have an article from the New York Times that I found extremely disturbing. Loneliness and AI. I think I'll start with that. So that was a few days ago. I think it's a podcast, but there was some reporting. Yes, there is some reporting, and I am not necessarily happy with how this is panning out. Like, essentially what's happening with this topic that I'm going to show you in just a second. And the reason why is because, to be quite honest, like, I'm very weary of these technological solutions, especially for the problem of loneliness. Um, After being here in Japan for a few days, I am extremely impressed with the level of organization and support that this government gives to its citizens. And yeah, it's quite interesting. Hey, how's it going? Good to see Art Heg or Art the G, or Art the G. Oh, okay. I need a different charger. Give me 1 second. That power brick was not enough, clearly. I think this should be better. Hopefully. I think it should be better. Hopefully. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay, cool. I'll answer some of those questions. Just give me a second. Okay. Hopefully this charges. I'm gonna put on energy saver too, and I'm gonna disconnect this to make sure that maybe lower the brightness on my end. Again, I'm in a very different situation than usual. If I disconnect, oh, it's charging. Perfect. Okay, so let's get started. Let me share my screen. Let me share my screen here. Yes, I understand. Let's proceed. Let's start with this. So first of all, I think the world of AI is getting too crazy to a large degree, and I'm interested to see how it continues to evolve. But I think that this idea that the world can continue to integrate with artificial intelligence. There's this lamp robot that speaks to the elderly, called LEQ. Um, and essentially, this is an article that showcases and that talks about kind of like this device talks to seniors, helps them not be alone, that kind of stuff, right? There was one part of the article that was really good, or it was funny at least. Like, there was a joke. I'm gonna try to find it. I thought it was corny, but honestly, it was funny and it made me laugh. So out of all of the things, I guess there's a positive thing in this. Oh, here it is. So, have you ever heard of the Dolly Parton diet? And Jan said no, which is the lady that's trying to figure out the loneliness. What's that? And she says, "You go lean, go lean, go lean, go lean," which is a reference to Jolene, which is a song from Dolly Parton. And I thought that was corny and sufficient, to kind of like, just say like, okay, robots may be able to learn enough about people and their preferences that they're able to kind of like engineer jokes that make sense for them, right? And that's what the article is about. So this lady right here, her name is Jan, and she has this robot right here, lamp, that talks to her. And the New York Times essentially is saying, or is painting the picture, that this robot somehow can replace or can help with the loneliness epidemic. I don't necessarily think that's true. I don't think that's a good and positive thing, in my personal opinion. And the reason why is because it's replacing all of the human connections that we have built over time with, a disembodied self. It's not necessarily that the AI robot, cannot perform human tasks, but it does it without the real understanding of what the human experience is about. So I was kind of disturbed to see some of the stuff happening, and kind of like there will be more integration of these kind of technologies. After a few days, I've never been here in Asia. This is my first time being in Asia, and I've been to Europe. I've been to Latin America, of course. I was born there. I've been to North America, and now I've been to Asia. And something that I found very interesting is just the amount of order and respect that people have here for traditions, the elderly. Kind of like there's some integration, some cohesiveness that's quite interesting to notice. But it's also like the amount of ownership and flexibility and autonomy that the elderly have. I see some people that, in my estimation, of course, I didn't ask their age, are probably in their early 80s or late or mid 80s, somewhere around there, just walking down the street, going to a park, taking the train. And not only on that spectrum, it's not only on the spectrum of going into the elderly, also young children. Like I've been to the subway lines here in the Tokyo area for the last few days, and I see kids as young as 7 or 6 year olds essentially taking the train by themselves, which would be unheard of in the United States, for multiple reasons, safety being one of them. But I find it quite interesting to look into all of this and recognize that when you create a society that is dependent on the smart rectangles, that the world pushes at you, and it's dependent on transportation that is not, or that is only available via cars, or kind of like a vehicle, that you cannot walk to places, you cannot go to the local store that is just down the street, or eat at a local shop, or purchase groceries within your neighborhood. You are going to have situations like this one, where this person doesn't have interaction with a lot of people, and that is because she doesn't live close to her family, and she also doesn't have probably a lot of, I mean, the article goes into detail, right? Like she doesn't have a lot of friends that live around her, and also because they're just far away, they are not around, and they cannot interact with her. Then she feels like she's losing her autonomy, and she doesn't want to go to a home, to a senior home, right? But I think that that's like the worst part, right? Like, this society, a free society in the United States, built around the idea of freedom, means that in order for you to be free, you have to be mobile, you have to have certain level of goods and services available to you. And whenever you don't have those things, now AI is going to step into the picture, right? So if you don't have anybody to talk to, AI is going to do it. If you don't have anybody to take you to your doctor's appointment, AI driven cars like Waymos are going to take you to it. Like you may not even need an Uber, right? Like, with human interaction, now somebody else is going to do it. And I guess I worry that this trend is just, I mean, it probably will continue, but that we're going to just accept it like we accepted smartphones. And then we're going to kind of be trapped, that we will lose even more abilities, even more human touch. We're going to continue dividing ourselves and not having the ability to interact with each other and actually challenge each other. A great article. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. So if you are interested, go check it out. I'm actually going to share a full article version so that you can read it, and there is no paywall. As you see right there, I'm going to use one of my little, there it is. And I'm going to also put it in the description of this not podcast. I always say podcast, is for my years as a podcaster. Here, I'm going to put it in article link in the description of this video so that you can go look in and read it. I think it was quite interesting to see. Let's go into the next thing, a few projects that I'm following, and kind of like Dumbphone news. So I'm just going to close with this, like the AI thing. I don't think we need to accept AI as the end all be all. I think we can continue striving towards human interaction, and that's what's actually going to help us, not AI. All right, let's get to Dumbphone news. First of all, we see the side phone. So as you know, one of the great phones in this year is going to definitely be one of the top winners. Now they have released this T9 keypad. that you are going to be able to use is actually nice because you have the classic keypad with the letters and the phone number and the D-pad compatibility, which was extremely necessary. Now you have the compact QWERTY for those of you who like the QWERTY keyboard, and you have the sundial. It seems to me that they're retiring the other dial to in order to add it for the T9, which is going to be definitely more useful. I also saw that they are going to be doing a gaming one. I mean, not necessarily something that interests me a lot, but something that is quite nice. It's quite interesting to see some of those developments. So if you want to go check it out, here's a side phone, and shipments are supposed to begin sometime soon. So now they have a T9, and this T9 version has the D-pad now available to it. So yeah, cool. That's good to hear. So if you have any questions about that, leave them there. Mr. Original HMD Terra, yes, I already know about it. I'm checking it out. It's hard to import to the United States. I'm having a friend from Germany try to get it to me. It's not going to be as easy because currently I'm not in the United States. I won't be in the United States until the end of the month, but I've had my friend purchase the Terra M, and he's going to send it to me once I'm able to actually get it instead of getting lost in the mail, which happens quite often, especially with international shipments. But yes, it is on my radar, and I can showcase it here. I mean, it's a good phone, but I don't necessarily think it's amazing for spec reasons, not necessarily because of how it works. Okay, next thing in the news for the Dumbphone world is the Sunbeam F1 has a bar phone, and what we've been told by email representatives, Josiah's here is reporting, says Sunbeam bar phone will be similar to the Pro phone in build quality and water and dust resistance, but will have a number of improvements. This includes a 12 megapixel camera, wireless charging, faster chipset, increased internal memory, increased RAM, ability to use larger SD cards, and a brighter flashlight. They say that the price is going to be similar to the F1 Pro phones and hope to be selling them by late 2026. So we may have a Christmas Sunbeam bar phone instead of a flip phone. Is going to be a bar device, and it's going to have numerous improvements, probably build quality, probably just kind of like the idea of having a better camera, all of these different things, which I'm really excited to continue seeing the Sunbeam team. If you don't know anything about the Sunbeam wireless people, they are one of the best devices out there. And as you can see right here, you can get a feature phone with all of the different configurations, and I highly recommend them. And if they come with a bar phone, then it's going to be even more competitive for the Dumbphone market. We already have the side phone, we have the Dumber Mini coming into the United States later this year, and now we have another unannounced bar phone from the Sunbeam community. So super excited about that. And yeah, so it's just one of those things. Okay, let me answer this question by MTT6. So MTT6 says, hi, what are dumb phones for European people? So for the European market, you have a few options. Let's go to the Dumbphone Finder. Go to dumbphones.org. Highly recommend that you go there and click on the European version right there. As you see, let me expand it a little bit. There you go. So this is the European version, and it is sorted by rating. These are my favorite phones for the European market. Probably a Kyocera Digno 903KC, a Dumber Mini. Those are kind of be more hybrid dumb phones that are going to help you to have a more kind of like, you need WhatsApp and you may need a two-factor authenticator, but because they have a very small screen, it's not going to be an amazing experience to use. So highly recommend those if you're looking for a hybrid kind of device. If you're looking for something more like super simple, you don't want to spend a lot of money and you just want something very basic, I would say go with the Doro devices. Those are very basic. They don't run a lot of apps because again, they have a limited processor, but you can still use a lot of the kind of like simple talk text experiences. You will not have any apps. It's just kind of like a call, no distractions, no frills device. So if you want something more robust with support and updates and all of those things, a hybrid device that works with your work and has the ability to install a few extra things. Dumber Mini, Kyocera, probably top choices right there. Side phone, yeah, it's a choice. I don't necessarily think it's the best for Europe just because of the band configuration. It will still work, but then you also have the warranty things, like, if something happens, then you have to kind of like ship it back and forth, and it can get expensive. As I know, shipping things to Europe is not cheap nowadays, especially because of the tariffs and all this stuff. If you want to go super high end, you have the Light Phone 3, which is expensive, very expensive. But if you want something like, again, very well managed and it works in Europe, has a good configuration, and it's going to have even better improvements later this in 2026, sorry, that's better. So you could buy a Nokia. Yeah, that's fine. Highly recommend that you go to the Dumbphone Finder, put your requirements. So, like, let's say that you want something like Google Maps, maybe you want Spotify for whatever reason. Here, it kind of dwindled down the options, and it tells you right there what are the top options. Right here, TT phone, that's another one, very good. But I wouldn't get the TT phone 280. It's a little bit too tiny here. I will get the Dumber Mini instead for now. So yeah, you can go there, peruse, do your filtering, and get a little bit more recommendations. But I would say Dumber Mini is definitely a top recommendation. And if you want super simple, the Doro devices are also good recommendations. So there you go, MTT Zix. Dylan, what am I doing in Asia? Traveling. I'm just traveling. Nothing yet super crazy when it comes to um, maybe future announcements that I may have in hand, but that will be later this year. But for now, just traveling in Asia, just hanging out here in Japan, um, and having a good time. Yeah, I went to a Japan soccer game today. Um, it was quite nice. They won, so like, I mean, the arena erupted, and having just kind of like enjoyment. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, hey," like the team won. It was quite nice. It was Japan Iceland in preparation for the World Cup next month, or in 10 days or so, 11 days when it starts. So it was quite nice. It was quite interesting. We also went to a sumo match earlier today, and that was very good, very interesting to learn about this culture. Never expected Japan to be so. I mean, I knew just kind of like from about people saying on the internet, just knowing about history. Like, Japan is a rich tradition, very very nice. But again, it was quite a surprise to just be like, wow, this is very real, very interesting. And yeah, so just hanging around here in the Asian countries. Probably will be back later this year, and then I'll have some stuff to announce, but we'll figure it out that a little bit later. Okay, another news. So, I mean, as always, there's always kind of like people that want to create their perfect phone, and they're always trying to look for people to understand, um, you know, their approach and support their project. This is Reco movement. I don't know what Reco is, like recognize maybe, or I don't know, reconnect. There you go, reconnect with life. So a real phone that works as a tool. Some of this was probably made with AI assistance. It has some tells of AI design here and there. But this is something I didn't like personally. I don't think you need to attack like dumb phones that badly. Dumb phones are useless. They're not useless. I mean, it's just they're difficult to use for some people. If you don't decide to do some of your lifestyle changes, yeah, for sure. So yes, you shouldn't have to choose between a flip phone that can only send SMS and a smartphone that's constantly stealing your attention. Reco is neither. A beautiful, customizable device built to handle all of the necessities of modern life. I hate this phrase, by the way, the necessities of modern life. I get what they're trying to say, and like, oh, you want banking, you need these things, you don't need distractions, no blow. But I'm like, yeah, okay, who determines that? I don't need a lot of things, and I'm able to work with a dumb phone. I don't think a lot of people can't, but that's kind of like just what it is. But I mean, you go check out this website, recomovement.com, if you want to check out some of their curated list of things that they're working on. It's quite interesting. So yeah, they're in alpha right now. It's funny to me, right? Like, so they're saying like no infinite feeds, no distractions, but they're like, but Spotify is important. I'm like, okay, isn't Spotify an infinite feed? Technically, it is. Spotify could be a distraction because they have video, advertisements. I mean, they have so many other things, right? And this is where a lot of these projects go, right? Like they start very small. They start like, okay, calls, SMS, calendar, necessities, right? And then they slowly start expanding, right? Like, coming in V2 is this curated app store, banking support, two-factor authentications. I'm like, okay. Like, I mean, some of these things are kind of getting out of scope. It's kind of like the slippery slope that not every dumb phone is going to work for everybody, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I don't think there should be one phone that works for everyone. I think people need to find something that works for them, and then continue moving on instead of trying to find the silver bullet that is going to make sure that they never need another device ever again. So it's just kind of interesting, right? It's just interesting to see how all of that works. Um, okay, let's continue moving on. I have very limited time because again, I'm trying to go to sleep at a decent time, um, but I also wanted to get this done. There are two projects that I'm also interested in, even more interested in actually. Because it's kind of like distraction-free tech. So the first one is the Motos Flow. It's a paper-like monitor for reading, writing, and focus work. It is on kind of pre-order Kickstarter. It's called Crowd Supply, so it's maybe more than a Kickstarter. It's more like a Tinker space, but it is a fully completed product, and I like the potential. I actually like some of the demos. You should watch the videos. I'll put the link in the chat so you can get it, and I'll also put it in the description of the video so you can go the Motos Flow. It's quite worth checking it out. So it is an e-ink screen. It's very fast, and they have two different ones. They have one that is black and white, and they have one that is color. So if you need color, they have the specifications, and it's quite fast and very nice. I wish it was cheaper, but it's quite expensive. I mean, e-ink is it's just an expensive technology. But I think that this is something that I enjoy as well because it's not only a monitor that is e-ink, it also has source files and schematics, documentation for modes, recommended usage, trade-offs, firmware source, public change logs, version releases. I mean, they have everything. It's a very open company, and I'm really excited to see how it all works out for kind of like some of their overall uh, just different configurations and what people end up doing with them. I'm actually going to get one myself because I have been interested in getting into the e-ink monitor, but I could never just kind of get a like a Daisung Paperlike 13 Pro. I mean, this were $799, but there was another one. I think it's like $1,800. The Books Mira Pro. That's 20 inches, like quite large, and I could just never shelve like even this money. I was just like, okay, for the performance, I was always like, the performance is not there, the PPI is not there. I just see the maximum frame rate 20 hertz. Like I was like, it's just super slow, right? But with this one, it's 60 hertz and it's touchscreen. It has a color model. It's open hardware. I just liked a lot of those things, and so I'm probably going to be getting one. I think this is a worthy product to check out, especially for those of you who have issues like myself. I also have some issues with LCD screens. I don't like them. They fatigue me quite often. So if you want something that is more kind of like nice to see and look, this is especially adjacent to the dumbphone space. It's great distraction-free tech. So I agree that it is a great product. And of course, they have long ways to go. 23%, kind of 40 days left. I'm going to be joining, so I'm going to be helping with this goal. But if you're interested, make sure to check it out. Okay, final project to share here is also another kind of like e-ink project typewriter type of thing. It's called the Zero Ink Writer soft kind of like device. Is a little bit cheaper, 285. Still expensive, of course. Not the e-ink. E-ink is just a very expensive kind of technology. This is more for you if you have been thinking about kind of maybe doing a blog or writing or having distraction-free writing spaces. So for me, I literally in my Substack. Let me go to my Substack here. No, I don't want. Okay, let me see. Right there. I think yes. So I just wrote a newsletter called "The Epidemic of Screen Pollution," um, and I made this point that um, even this very newsletter, encouraging you to move offline, is delivered through a screen and typed by someone looking at one. I use my computer to type my newsletters, and I also made a call out for people to go and tell me their recommendations for considering maybe like a free ride or, you know, like devices like it. And somebody sent me this project, the Zero Writer Inc. And I was like, oh, this is very nice. It's a writing place, something that I can put my ideas, and then I can connect it, and edit it after I have written the full post without any distractions or pings or emails that kind of get on my way. And I think that's quite important. They also have another project currently on Kickstarter as well. This one is funded, so you will get the device. It's called the Zero Writer Fold, which is e-ink word processor. This, instead of being kind of like just kind of like a tabletop, it folds, and you're going to be able to use it that way and carry it with you without having to kind of like bring a big device, right? So having something that folds, kind of goes up, you have a screen, you're going to be able to type. I'm going to decide between the two. I don't know which one I prefer. While I'm here in Japan, I also got into like a little bit of a rabbit hole to kind of check some of these devices that people kept sending me. But another one is called the Pomera. In the US, they're very expensive at $500. But here in Japan, they're like 250. So I was like, oh, well, I mean, yeah. So it's kind of like similar to what the Zero Ink is trying to do, but much cheaper for North America. So this is 549 for the US. I'm going to go check it out and see if I can get one here in Japan for 250. So, it's quite cheaper if I'm able to get it that way. So, yeah, it's quite something to see. Sorry, this was not expected. Also, I have been testing a few extra things here in the Japan area with the Light Phone 3. I have a Light Phone 3, and that's my preferred device. And I've been able to test a lot of things like, does the data work? Yes, if you get an eSIM card with Iralo or Ubiji, kind of like those eSIM card places, you're able to get this to work. You can get this to work. And it has been working. You get all of the tools. The one thing that has not been amazing, I'm able to find the directions in general, right? Like, so for example, here I was earlier going to the Japan National Stadium, but I'm just going to put it here. Let's see. And I was coming from the Shinjuku station, right? So I was going from the Shinjuku station to the National Stadium, right? So as you see right there, it's going to give me the directions, and I can start it. And it tells you the directions, like go this, go that way, you get to the place. But here's the problem. If I try to see how to get there, I get this, which in theory looks good. But when you zoom in, when you actually zoom in, you do not get any extra street information. So one of the problems has been that I've been walking along the path that it shows me to get to my different locations. And there's some of the trade-offs of the Dumbphone life, right? So I've been, and then I get off path because I take a wrong turn or I don't know what it is, whatever. And all of a sudden, like, it's very difficult to get to the place because there is no detail. So I have already sent an email to the Light Phone team to see what they can do to populate more details, because whenever you go to Here Maps, it's actually working. So there are no issues. There are way less issues with other modes of transportation. So I mean, here I'm going to put again Shinjuku Station, and let's see if you do the driving or the public transit. Actually, driving, biking, walking looks like that, looks the same. You are able to get to the place. It tells you where to go, but you cannot see any level of detail of or what's around you, if there's a corner or if, like, the street goes in a specific way. Public transit, of course, is completely different. I mean, it gives you the subway lines, and it just tells you, like, okay, go here, walk there, here, get on this train from Shinjuku Station, take the Oedo line towards Tokomai, and then after two stops, get off at Kokuritsu Kyojigo, and then you walk around and you arrive to the stadium, right? So it tells you, okay, this is what you're going to do. You're going to get on the train, etc., etc., and it kind of gives you the idea of, like, okay, this is where you need to go, which I appreciate because it allows me to get around town without having to make too many compromises. With the public transit, has been fine because it gives me go to the station, walk in there. After you walk in there, get into this train, ride it for a few number of stops, whatever the amount of stops is, get off at the station, walk a little bit more, you're there, right? So in general, that's fine. And actually, the other part is that you're able to find all of the directions here in Japan, all of the businesses within the database, and also within the directory. So here's the directory. You're able to tap it and be like, okay, this is where it is. And that part is fine. That part is totally fine. The problem is that there's no level of specificity, no businesses that I can look into, no corners or level of street data that I can have. And I think that's a pretty big issue because in my previous travels, I didn't have that issue with the Light Phone 3. In Europe, it gave me the exact street, and it gave me street level data information. Oh, there's this business, there's this coffee shop here. You would be able to see some of those things. Here, you have to essentially zoom out. You still have access to some of the data. Let's see, Shinjuku. Let's put it again so that I can get to the map. Oh, no, there it is. Okay. So if you zoom out, now all of a sudden you see some of the bigger roads, around the country, right? So that gives you a little bit more, like, okay, there is a road there, but what if I'm not going around that road? Like, I mean, what if I want to go even deeper? I mean, Japan is such a well developed and highly organized development wise country that you have very granular information that it will be more needed, more than just like, this is a road and this is a large road that goes through the center of whatever city it is, right? So we're able to have some of the information but not all of the information that is relevant to kind of navigate. So hopefully they'll be able to fix that. Maybe it's just a server population of maps kind of issue. It's not a data issue since I have data in the device, but I'm kind of interested. You do have to switch your um, default location. So whenever you go to settings, you get a place that you can choose to change your default location, and you're going to be able to do that. And that helps a lot because it helps creating and populating that map. So I'm quite happy with that solution. But yeah, I have been testing and everything works great. Calendar works great. Pictures, music, notes, podcasts, all of the general stuff. But the directions has been the spotty one. And that kind of leads me to believe that maybe it's time to let go of Here Maps for the Light Phone team. Maybe I'll give that suggestion. Maybe it's time to go with something like Organic Maps where you can download it, and have some of those things. All right. I have 4 minutes and then I have to go. So if you have any pressing questions, leave them there. And if not, that's okay. Put a comment in the comment section of this video and I'll be interacting there. As always, I go back and take my time. Tomorrow I have to work. So even though I'm here in Japan traveling, having some of this kind of stuff, discussions, dumb phones, all of these things. I do have to work tomorrow for my 9 to 5, and I also will take some time to answer some questions because I know they have been populating in the YouTube channel, in the comment section of the different videos. And it just takes time to kind of go through everything, right? So, yeah. Anyways, thank you for watching. And if you have any pressing questions, I have 4 minutes and then kind of have to get to go to sleep. It's 11 and it's been a long day after a lot of walking, and all of that. Lucia says, I really appreciate your channel. Do you think the side phone is worth buying? Yes, I think so. I actually do. It's one of the winners of 2026. The reason why, I'll tell you why. It's I get it. $300, right, for a dumb phone. A lot of people are like, why is it so expensive? The way that you have to think about it is, I'm going to use this for the long term. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to change my lifestyle. I'm going to do things differently, and I'm going to learn new things. The good thing about the side phone is that it is a hybrid device. And because it is a hybrid device and it is backed up by a team that actually cares about the software and the hardware, they're making revisions, they're talking to their community, they are listening to feedback and making the product better. So as a result, I think the side phone is worth buying for all of those reasons, because though it's not perfect, let's get it clear, it doesn't work with Verizon very well, doesn't work with AT&T very well. So if you have those carriers, it is not worth it for those reasons. If you have a T-Mobile carrier, I think it is worth it. But for example, the T9 kind of like reason, so they listened to the community feedback. They were like, hey, we get this T9 keyboards and they don't have any letters. What are we doing here? And people were like, well, I don't want that. Like, people say like, I don't want it, right? And then kind of like after that, they were like, okay, let's go back to the drawing board. I want a T9 keyboard. I want the D-pad. We want the letters, and they made it happen. Now people are saying to them, hey, we want a backlit keyboard. Can you make it happen? And then they're looking and exploring and trying to make it happen as well. So I think it's worth it. I think it's a good company, and I believe that they're going to be there for the long term. So having said that, yes, to answer your question, I think it's a good phone. Now, I see you added a comment here. I have the Jelly Star. Going from the Jelly Star to the side phone is not, it's not the only thing that you will miss. And I think you need to decide whether this is important to you or not, is RCS communication. So if you like RCS, that you can create your group chats and be in your, all of the different communications easily without having to fight the SMS and MMS problems, I think that it's okay if you're going to say like, I don't care if I miss a few messages here and there. I'm okay battling through the issue of RCS, and I'm going to be okay on the other end. Yeah, So if you use WhatsApp, as you see, you had another comment. Yeah, you're gonna be fine. The side phone supports WhatsApp. You're gonna be able to navigate. You have a tap in case that you don't need it, and that's actually something I do like about the side phone and the Dumber Mini. Those two devices, one for Europe, one for North America, in my opinion. The thing that I do like about these devices is that because they have the T9 keyboard, they have that utility that you have to use the keys. All of a sudden, you are not tempted to just doom scroll. Like, it's more effort to actually get to a website and expand, because the form factor is not made for doom scrolling and being distracted. So I do like devices that have a keypad for that reason, because they discourage you from scrolling. They discourage you from doing these things again and again and again. Even with the Jelly Star, somebody could be like, just swiping up and watching very tiny content. Not recommended to do Instagram or YouTube in that device, but technically possible. And because the motion, right? Like, you're holding it with one hand, and with the thumb, you're going up. With the side phone, there is that keyboard in the middle. So, like, imagine that this is a side phone. Half of it is a keyboard, so it kind of gets on the way of scrolling. You kind of have to readjust your thumb, and those points of friction do matter. I think, in my opinion, they make a difference. So, yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for watching, everyone. Short stream this time around, trying to keep the streak alive for 2026. I'm trying to have one stream pretty much every 30 days or so. And yeah, wanted to do this one today. If you have any questions that I did not get into, or you have any other news that maybe haven't come into my radar, make sure to put it in the comments below. I'll be interacting with you guys. And yeah, really excited about the expansion of the dumbphone movement. It's getting better and better, and people are waking up to the reality that they may not need all of the smart tech in the world that they think they need, but instead they can live with less and live a more intentional life. I'll be writing a newsletter probably sometime this week about this AI article, going a little bit more in depth and giving you more thoughts about, like, okay, why is all of a sudden people want to just have AI everywhere, but also how can we just escape and go back to human roots instead of um, technological solutions, quote unquote. Anyways, see you next time, and hope you have a great day. And if you are in Asia, I hope you have a good night.